All right. So when you are financing a home, it is different from just going out and buying a light bulb, and a more efficient light bulb, and replacing a less efficient light bulb. So let's look at some numbers. Now these numbers may not apply to Sarah and B. If you can find a $200,000 house here, that would be great. I would love to. But the principle here still works, even if you scale up the numbers. So let's look at this. If you buy a house, let's say you find a $200,000 house and you put $40,000 down on a 20% down payment. Your monthly payment for a 30-year loan, 5.5% interest, a little over $900. Energy bills, let's say $302 per month. These are monthly numbers. And so your true monthly cost is the sum of the mortgage payment plus the energy bills. So you're paying $1,210 per month. And if you spend a little bit more to get a green home that is more energy efficient, your monthly payment for the mortgage is higher a little bit, but your energy savings may offset that, and so your true monthly cost now, in this example, is $31 lower. Your loan amount is a little bit higher in this case because you're borrowing a little bit more. You've got a higher price because of the energy efficiency features that you're paying for. So the bottom line here is this number here, and it's all about cash flow. So the takeaway is that when you are financing something, it's cash flow that you need to look at. Because it's not like that light bulb where you're forking over $7 up front. You're not forking over $203,000 up front, or $500,000, or whatever the price of the house is. You're not paying that all up front. Now, if you are in that position where you do buy houses for cash, then payback may be a relevant measure for you. But if you're financing, it's cash flow. Another thing that doesn't factor in to that little calculation I just showed you is you get another benefit because mortgage interest is deductible. So you're getting a financial benefit from having that loan and being able to deduct the mortgage interest. Unfortunately, the IRS does not allow us to deduct energy bills, the cost that we pay for the energy that we use in home. So when you finance energy efficiency, that's another factor that makes this even better. Actually, I put this example together for an existing home, for an energy improvement of an existing home, and a lot of that money was for air sealing in this case, I think. But the principle works no matter what you're doing here. With renewable energy stuff, if you're putting photovoltaic modules on the roof, then yeah, you're paying, but they're not only, they are producing energy for you, so they're offsetting what you're buying from the utility company. So, and the other thing is, if you spend more here, you're going to save more, and what matters is what this number is. As long as that number is 0 or positive cash flow for you, then it makes sense to do it. So the thing to do is, if energy efficiency is your main goal, and I'm going to argue that that should not be your main goal, at the end of the talk we'll talk about some of the other benefits you get from investing in a green home. It's not just about saving money. It's absolutely not just about saving money. There are things that are actually more important than saving money, like indoor air quality. So you have to do that analysis, make sure that the cash flow works out in your benefit. If the cash flow works out in your benefit, then it definitely makes financial sense to do it. It makes sense for other reasons, but it makes financial sense if the cash flow number is positive. Okay, so cash flow is what matters when you're financing, not payback. And this is something I have to train people all the time on, is if you're financing, don't ask that question. Everybody wants to ask that question. What's the payback? What's the payback? What's the payback? Financing makes that irrelevant because you're not paying it all up front. You're paying it over time. So what matters is how much you pay each month versus how much you're saving each month. All right, and mortgage interest is deductible. Energy prices are generally increasing, so that makes it more favorable as well. That little table I showed you didn't factor in increasing energy prices. You can try to come up with some model to figure out what the energy prices are going to be in the future. But Niels Bohr, a physicist, famously said, predicting things is difficult, especially about the future. So it's a more conservative number crunching to leave escalating energy prices out. All right, and again, payback is irrelevant when you finance. Payback is irrelevant when you finance. All right, there is this thing called the energy efficient mortgage. Anybody here ever hear of it? Good. Our realtor here has heard of it. The energy efficient mortgage, the idea of it started in the 70s, back when we had the energy crises in 73 and 79. And everybody started focusing on saving energy and making houses more efficient and super insulation and passive solar and all this stuff to save energy in homes. The next step was to say, well, if we're saving this money on our energy bills, shouldn't our mortgages reflect that? And it took a while, but in the 90s, HUD came out with the energy efficient mortgage program, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have come up with something, but most of the EEMs that are done through HUD, the FHA program. So in 93, they came out with the initial mortgagee letters for the energy efficient mortgage program. And the way it works is that if a buyer is going to buy or have a house built and finance it with an energy efficient mortgage, the energy savings get factored in so that they can qualify for a higher mortgage amount. Because remember in that table before, the total monthly cost is the sum of the energy bills plus the mortgage payment. If you're paying lower energy bills, you can afford a higher mortgage payment. And the energy efficient mortgage factors that in. So you get credit for that, and the lenders can qualify you for a higher mortgage amount, higher loan amount. Another factor is the down payment on the energy efficiency features can be waived. So you don't have to pay up front the down payment on the energy efficiency features. In that example I did before where you're comparing the $200,000 house and the $203,200 house, spending $3,200 extra on the energy efficiency. I think I showed the loan amount with the down payment on that extra $3,200 as well, but if they were doing that with an EEM, the loan amount would not the loan amount would include the whole $3,200 extra. They wouldn't have to pay a down payment on that extra $3,200. That's part of the EEM program. One thing that's not part of the EEM program is lower interest rates. Interest rates are whatever the lender is going to give you. You may get a lower rate or you may not. It just depends. There's nothing in the EEM program about lower interest rates, though. One benefit of this that can sometimes come a year later is some buyers can avoid having to pay mortgage insurance because the energy savings get added in to the equity that you have in the home, and so you end up with more equity, which means that you may have less chance of having to pay the PMI. If you're saving energy on the house and you've got the home energy rating, the energy modeling that documents that, those savings get factored into the equity as well so that you end up showing more equity in the home than you would otherwise. And with more equity, that means you may not have to pay the insurance, PMI. Not to be confused with PMS. All right. Here is something that came out this year. The Institute for Market Transformation, IMT, did a study, and it's on the ResNet website. ResNet is the organization, it's a nonprofit that creates the standards for home energy ratings, and every energy efficient mortgage that's done has a home energy rating, which is energy modeling. You've got a rater that comes in there. They test the house for air leakage and duct leakage, and they look at the insulation, and they look at the windows, and they look at all these different things, and they come up with an energy model for the house. They come up with a number that estimates the annual energy usage, and they can do this even before a house has any energy bills, even before it's built. It has to be confirmed once it's built. But the energy model from the home energy rating then tells you how efficient the house is going to be, or how efficient it is if it's already built. The Institute for Market Transformation did this study, and they found, looking at houses all over the US, that there was a 32% lower risk of default on mortgages in energy efficient homes. That's pretty big. So this is something that another benefit of investing in a green home is you're less likely to default on the mortgage. There is something called PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy, which is, I don't know if it's ever going to go anywhere. It's run into some hurdles, and I don't know what the latest is on it. But the idea there is to finance energy improvements or energy efficiency in new homes, I guess, through the property taxes so that it goes with the property instead of with the mortgage, which I think is a great idea, but it's run into some hurdles, and I don't know exactly where that is now and if it'll survive. But one thing is clear, even if you don't do anything special with the financing, you just get a regular mortgage and everything, if you have an energy efficient home, there's less risk of defaulting. So they looked at, in this study, they looked at Energy Star versus Standard Homes. They looked at 71,000 homes all over the US. So this was a pretty big study. So the numbers are, the result is significant. And you can download the paper. It's about a 15 or 20 page paper, PDF file on the ResNet website. Go to resnet.us, or actually the easier way to find it is just Google mortgage default risk ResNet. Put ResNet in the name, that'll help you find it. ResNet mortgage default risk. That'll lead you right to this. It'll take you to an article on the ResNet website, and at the bottom of that article you can click to download the actual paper from the Institute for Market Transformation. So, another benefit of green homes, investing in a green home.